Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, August the 20th of 2025. This is our regular blended council meeting for the month of August. Second item, land acknowledgement. I'd like to begin by acknowledging we're meeting on the traditional lands of Wet'suwet'en First Nation, part of Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Could we all rise for the singing of O Canada? O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all our sons command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Thank you very much, everyone. Moving on, item number 6, approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda as circulated? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as circulated.
Nope.
No? Oh my, this is not a good way to start a meeting when we're in a new spot. I need a recommended motion that the agenda be amended, moving items 2.1 through 2.7 to follow public comments, section 14. That's what I need.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Phil Mooney. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Lauren Cushion. Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item number 7, if there's any declarations of conflict of interest, please notify me and I'll make sure your name is recorded by Jenny in the recording in the meeting minutes. Item number 8, approval of the minutes. You have in front of you the meeting minutes of the regular council, July 16th, 2025. Is there any errors or omissions? Seeing no input, I declare that the meeting minutes from July 16, 2025 be approved as presented. Item number 9, presentations. Before I start, tonight our agenda is very large, so I'm asking that you please keep to the 10-minute time frame. That does not include any questions that would come from council, so just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, our meeting is very large tonight. So I guess the first one tonight is the Evangel Assembly Free Store, Reverend Cindy Dunnett. Okay, Cindy, I'm going to ask you just to hit the red button on that pad there. There you go. So what I'm going to do is just going to turn your microphone on, and you have the floor.
Okay, well, thank you very much for allowing us to come and share with you tonight about our free store. And this is an information time that we wanted to just let municipal councils and wherever we can know about what we do. And so we want to give you a little bit of history, first of all. And for the Congregation of Evangel Assembly on Parade Street, food security became a recognized need during COVID. There were opportunities to supply food through grants, and the church, starting in 2020, packed grocery boxes for distribution in the south end of Yarmouth town. In February 2021, I was hired to, in part, oversee meeting some of the need for food security. At that time, we were still doing grocery boxes. Then we started looking at doing something more sustainable. During 2022, we as a congregation worked towards building stock for a place which would offer groceries. The former Lighthouse Church on Argyle Street was offered to us to use for community-based projects. And this is where the Free Store was born in December of 2022. And that gives you a look at the building. The early days found us often running out of food before all the people were served. But gradually we found our footing, and between financial and grocery donations from our church and community, as well as grants, we have been able to help with the food security need over the last 2.5 years. Our rationale for the Free Store is to be a hand up to our clients. We want the people who come to us to feel valued. Each month we have a board which shows all the food items we have in stock for that month. Each person makes their own grocery list, and we have packers who fill their order for them. We use a number system so people's confidentiality is not compromised. We also offer good used clothes and household items like dishes, linens, and bedding. Everything is free of charge. And so this just gives you an idea of what our food area looks like, our main food room. And then the other room is where we have our perishables come in, and that's where our fridges and freezers and that kind of thing are. And some of the clothing that we offer. This month, last week, in fact, on Wednesday, the lady who looks after getting the clothes on the hangers said she had 50 empty hangers by the time the day was over. So there was a lot of things went besides what was on the household tables and that kind of thing. And then this month we also did our school supply giveaway, and we do that once a year. So that's operated out of the same building. We operate year-round, the second Wednesday of each month, as it is the time of the month when cupboards tend to be more bare. The people who work in our store are senior citizens, all except one. We have a hostess at the door, a registrar, 3 packers in the non-perishables, and 3 packers in the perishable section, a statistician, and 3 shoppers to buy groceries during the month. There are 9 volunteers for each Free Store day, although due to illness and appointments, we have operated with fewer. And I just want to take a moment to recognize 3 of our workers tonight that are here, and or the husband of one of our workers and another lady that are sitting in the back seat, and we're just really glad to have them here as support tonight. So for statistics, in July 2025, and of course I was doing this PowerPoint prior to our August 13th meeting. So in July, we received 54 requests serving a total of 143 adults, a total of 143. They were 106 adults and 37 children. And then 14 or 26% were from single adult families. So it gives you a bit of an idea there. So, whoops, there. So on a year-to-date basis, we have filled 407 requests, serving a total of 1,120 people. 774, or 69%, were adults, 341, or 31%, were children. And of the 407 requests, 116, or 29%, were from single adult families. And we find that those percentages stay pretty regular throughout the year. So just for an update, after our August store, which I don't have the slides for, in August we received 72 requests, and so we were overwhelmed this last month, which means we served 229 people, 141 adults, and 88 children. That brings the total people served in 2025 to 1,349, which are 915 adults and 434 children. When we started the store in December of 2022, we were primarily serving the south end of Yarmouth. And then people were coming from the town and municipality of Yarmouth, as well as the municipality of Argyle. Since April, the average percentage of our requests from the municipality of Yarmouth is 11%. And just thought we would give you the idea of just where you fit in all of this. As of August store, we have served 175 unique family units in 2025. So our collaboration, that's with agencies both in Yarmouth and provincially. And you can see that we've got the Collaborative Food Network through Parents Place. We also work with Second Harvest, Yarmouth Food Bank, South Pantry Shift, and Aiden's Place. We try to help out where we can. We're supportive of these endeavors. And for instance, the Yarmouth Food Bank is storing the French fries from Second Harvest for us. So we all work together. Depending on the month and our supplies that we may have extra, we have taken groceries to South Pantry, Shift, and Aiden's Place. So we want to thank you tonight for the opportunity of sharing our vision with you. We're thankful to be able to be of service to your residents. And any help you can give us to continue our work is appreciated. And just knowing that we are out there and you can direct people to us, that we might be able to help them, that's just a win for everybody. I'll finish with a story. We have been helping one particular family for 1.5 years since their situation came to our attention. Recently, they told me we could help another family now, as they were in a better place, both financially and physically. This is a good news story of a hand up. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you very much for that. I do have one point of clarification.
Sure.
When you talk about single adult families, are you talking about single adults?
Single, yes.
Just because
That
whenever
they're the
I
only
see
person-
that.
They're the only person in their home?
All right,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
exactly.
Any questions of councilors? Councilor Phil Mooney.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Very nice presentation. So the old Salem Church, that's just used for the pantry now, right? There's no services there anymore?
There's no services there, no.
I would like to hear this again, because we don't make, and you said it was an information session only, Reverend, and I would like to maybe in the fall, just not on a day that you are servicing the public, but go out and have a look at the place.
Oh, absolutely.
Just to see how it works, and the other thing I really like is the collaboration between other agencies in town, and we've always talked about this around the table. We were supportive of the backpack program from the Wesleyan Church, and I think we'll be supportive of this. We can't say that tonight because we don't do that the same night as the presentation, but it's one of the things, and the CAOs preach it, is food security in our region, right? And it's talking about single adults, you know, some of them lived on 2 incomes, a spouse dies, right, and they're in housing, and part of that, like 50% of their income's gone.
Right.
So I can see the need, and especially this time of year when it's getting a little cooler, but very good presentation, and whatever we can do to help you, would like to go out and see the place, and I'm very supportive of the idea.
Sure, thank you.
Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warden. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. It was informative, and I agree with Councillor Mooney that we should, maybe as a council go and visit the site, and looking forward to sort of seeing your ask, when it comes grant time, and certainly it's important work you do, and the statistics you provide with us tonight they're not each individual human stories, but the statistics paint a picture of the need out there, and for that I'm thankful that you gave the presentation to allow us a little bit more insight into what you do and how we can support you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Lauren Cushing.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Again, thank you for the presentation. It's interesting to see the collaboration you have between the other agencies who provide for the needy. And the food bank, they do their distribution on Tuesdays, I believe, and you guys do it on a Wednesday once a month.
Yes.
I think they do it twice a month, I believe. So that there's a regular supply of food for a certain group of people all the time. So it's fantastic, and it's great to see the other ones there. And what is it called? The South Pantry. Them pantries, I think, are very, very helpful to some people too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
See no more questions. I'll just make one point. I'm very glad to see that you're not only looking after the families and children in the area, but the single adults that also struggle. That's another group that sometimes is overlooked. And I'm very glad to see, as many other councilors have mentioned, the collaboration. There's a lot of different organizations, and yours is one of them. I say that I was ignorant of the existence. We see a bunch of other things around. Acts of Kindness is another one. So unfortunately, we have to have these systems in place, and I'm so glad that community groups like yours step up and help people in need. So I guess, thank you very much for that presentation. I will ask staff, do you have any questions?
No.
Seeing none. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. I have.
Appreciate it.
I have handouts.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Good. Where's Pastor Billy?
It's gone.
Is he gone? You guiding the ship right now?
Pardon?
You doing the ship right now?
No. I resigned too.
I have a couple staff members that we're going to connect you with, that one on the grant side and one on the senior safety side, just to help with spreading the word and making sure we support you.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, my number is there.
Perfect.
Do you want this for anybody?
Yes,
Oh, sure, that would be
absolutely.
great. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Item 9.2. We have in front of us the Yarmouth Community Solar Program with Mila Simon. So your microphone is on, so you're live. You may go ahead.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Warden, councilors, staff. Thank you so much for having us tonight here. My name is Tracy. I'm the Chief Development Officer from Solar Bank. This is my colleague.
Hi, I'm Mila Simon, Senior Project Coordinator at Solar Bank.
So tonight, we want to propose you exciting community solar projects in Alice Road in Yarmouth. So we are seeking to municipal support, a letter or resolution to this project. We're considering to make a proposal to the province of Nova Scotia in September for this project, participating for community solar program. So I will share with you background information about the community solar program. The other side? Take a look.
Sure.
Technical support.
Okay, that might not work.
Um,
Sorry, I don't think it's working.
right. So can you actually see the slides from your computer? Okay, so I don't have my computer on. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, then let's probably wait. Okay, sounds good. Okay, awesome. Great, thank you. Okay, great. So I will share with you the background information, what is the community solar program, and which company are involved, who's the project owners, and where's the site location, and currently what is the project status, and the next step, what's our plan. So after that is Q&A. So Nova Scotia has identified there's a two key challenge in the electricity sector. So one being high electricity price. On average, people is paying 18 cents per kilowatt hour, and the other is a high emission. So currently still around 50% of the electricity is still generating from the fossil fuel, about 30% from the coal plant, and the other from natural gas and oil. So the province already determined want to phasing out coal plants by 2030 as part of the climate change management action plan. So where's the electricity come from? So they want the 80% of the electricity coming from the renewables by 2030, and by 2035 they want to achieve the net zero. So very aggressive goal, but they do have a programs in place leading for this journey. They already have a rate-based procurement and the Green Choice Program grant about 900 megawatts of a contract to the wind projects. Those ones are connecting to the transmission line, feeding to the provincial the infrastructures, right? So the project we're proposing tonight is called Solar Gardens. It's around 2 megawatts of the size. So that is for a community solar program, which is connecting to the local community, the distribution system. So this is a program that they want to allow the local residents or business, they don't have to install the solar projects or on the rooftop ground mount. They can conveniently using the solar electricity at a discounted price. So how does that work out? The project owners will bring the 100% financing for these projects, will hire the company like us, build a project, operate for 25 years. And if the contract granted to this project, right, so that contract term is 25 years, will enter the power purchase agreement with the Nova Scotia Power and the feeding for the distribution grid for 25 years. So the contract is granted by the Minister of the Energy, but however, it's a PPA, we call the power purchase agreement, is entered with Nova Scotia Power. And the subscribers, they are the customer from the Nova Scotia Power. If they want to use the solar electricity, it's so convenient. They just need to enter a paper agreement called a subscriber agreement with a project owner. So now they can use the virtually using the solar electricity at a discounted price. They got 2 cents per kilowatt hour off for each of the solar electricity they subscribe. So there's no incremental fee, no commitment for 25 years. The contract is 25 years for the project owners. So the program already launched last year, and procurement target is 100 megawatts. So this is the benefit we can bring in through these projects. Once these projects are alive, the reliability of the energy supply in this local community will be improved because now you have a local generation from the solar. And the other benefits, the local community members and also business, they can subscribe for the solar electricity, will save the energy bill because they have a 2 cents per kilowatt hour off. Roughly it's about 10 to 15% off on today's bill. So in addition, we help to managing the climate change, help the municipality to reduce the emission, and also create a local job because the investment is coming from the fund raised outside of the Nova Scotia. Around the $5 million will come to this municipality, and we always hire as much as possible for the construction, operation maintenance for the local, for technicians and also the laborers. So the project is owned by a number company. The parent company is AI Renewable. It's a flow-through limited partnership in headquarter office in Toronto. And the role for Solar Bank, us, and the TriMac, we are the co-developers for these projects. So AI Renewable is a Canadian flow-through fund, and they only invested on the clean infrastructure and the renewable energy projects in Canada to be qualified as a flow-through structure. So on the other hand, we also have a low expectation about the returns. That's how we can financially make a project feasible. And the other hand, they also want to be part of the climate change action. Solar Bank is us. So we are Canadian solar developer, headquarter office in Toronto. We established about 12 years ago, and we probably already developed over 1,000 projects in Canada and also in the US, and we can bring in the solar expertise for solar project development and also the community solar project management experience. So this is our full vertical integrated process. We handled from very beginning, origination, talking to the municipalities, to the landlords, enter the lease agreement, and all the studies, grid interconnection, and also later on, engineering, design, procurement about the material, and also hire from local for the construction. So after commercial operation, we're still here, together with the TriMet. We're managing the project for 25 years. So our interest is to become the long-term community members here. So this is our local partner, TriMet. So they have an office in Halifax and also in Sydney. The middle person, Blair, is the electrical engineer. He worked with Nova Scotia Power for the project almost 40 years. So we can certainly leverage a lot of experience for this solar development. So I will pass to Mila for project information.
So the red dot here is the project location in the district of Yarmouth. It's located near the airport. So it's a private lands with a long-term lease agreement entered by the project owner with the property owner. And the picture here is an example of a community solar project developed by Solar Bank. It's actually around double the size of the project we're proposing here. This is to give you a general idea of what a community solar project looks like with an adjacent community there. So this is the project preliminary site plan. You can see here we have the property boundary, which is the green line there. And then the paneled area is the blue squares you see there. So the project, the fenced area, which is the area that we're using, is around 10 acres for this 2.2 megawatt sized project. We keep the setback of at least 10 meters from the property boundary, and then we keep 30 meters from the identified wetland there. So this is the property owner does live on the site, so there's a setback there from his house, and also the setback there from the lamppost. So the point of interconnection would be coming to Ellis Road, and we would be using the existing access. The yellow line there that you may see, that's the proposed access road, and then the red line is the connection to the Ellis Road existing distribution line there. So currently we're in the early stages of the overall project development. We're preparing to submit our package to the Nova Scotia Community Solar Program. So we've completed the preliminary assessments such as desktop analysis, preliminary designs as you see, and also community engagement. And we're working to prepare our package to submit to the province in the fall. And once we, if we are awarded a contract by the province, then we would do the detailed studies, environmental studies, and detailed engineering. All of this would happen after contract award, as well as detailed interconnection studies with Nova Scotia Power. So this is a list of some of our application requirements, one of them being the municipal support letter from council. We also have our community and First Nations engagements, permitting plans, preliminary assessments as I discussed, and then financing construction plans, community benefits, and the interconnection preliminary assessment, which we have from Nova Scotia Power. So our community engagement plan, we've completed 2 public meetings, one in person at the Yarmouth Fire Hall and one online. We also have a project website where we post information about the site plan and the summary of the program, our companies, and the public meeting dates. We sent letters to the community nearby to provide them the information and also the invitation to the meeting, along with our contact information, and have been working with the municipal staff and also engaging with council to share the information with you. So our contact information is provided for ongoing inquiries, not just during the meetings phases, but throughout the entire process for anyone, residences, or council to reach out to us if they have any questions. So our priority subscription plan consists of first offering the priority subscription to the community that's hosting the site. So the local residences in the area would have the first chance to subscribe to the project, receive the discount. We would also offer some priority to the First Nations communities, as well as marginalized communities such as senior housing or non-for-profit. Second, if there's still existing capacity, we would then offer to the adjacent community, and then finally, if still available, we would offer to the general public. However, with a project of this size, 2.2 megawatts, we do anticipate that it will be locally subscribed. So the next steps from council, we're seeking your municipal support letter. So I would like to clarify that this municipal support letter, it's a requirement for our application to the province. It does not supersede or exempt us from any permitting or regulatory requirements or compliance with any authority having jurisdiction. It's simply our requirement and to represent your attitude towards the community solar program and to enable us to submit our package to the province for their review. So that brings us to the ends of our slides, and we will open the floor for your questions. Thank you so much, Warden, Council, and staff for listening.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Councillor Phil Mooney.
Question on procedure. Can we do a letter of support tonight, or do we have to do it for the next?
The general practice is not to do it the evening of a presentation, but I think if I understand correctly, the program is set up such that when the intake period opens, the contracts are awarded on a first-come, first-served basis to qualifying projects. And we've missed the boat on green energy projects in the past, and I think it opens up September 2nd.
So, sorry for calling you by your name, but
It's okay, my mother does too.
I know. Could we do a notice of motion for a letter of support to the next committee of the whole?
What you could do tonight is you could do an agreement in principle, and then bring it, give me the authority to sign it, and then if there's
Yep.
no dissenters, we could pass that at the next council meeting.
So the reason why council by practice doesn't usually make a decision on support at the meeting when a presentation is received is to give that chance for sober second thought and to think about risk or liability for the municipality financial implications. The way I understand the ask, it's a letter of support and principle for the project application. It's not a letter saying council agrees with the detailed design. It's not a letter saying council agrees with the subscription methodology. It's a letter of support in principle is what it would be. So it's whatever council's comfortable with.
What about when it comes to, on the taxation side? So will that be taxed at a different rate than
It
just
would-
resource or forest or?
It will. PVSC in their legislation, they have guidance and their regulatory framework on how they deal with the solar gardens. I'm not sure what the category is. I can get the answer
But
to
it's
that
not just,
question.
it's just not a regular residential rate?
No.
Okay. And question to these, next presentation, how was the public intake? Was there any negative comments? Was there,
It's a positive.
it's a
for-
positive?
Yes.
I'm good on that side, but.
Thank you very much.
If everybody's had a chance, I could take a motion.
Councillor Jim Baxter.
Thank you for your presentation first. I think it's totally great going solar. We need to start burning less coal. A lot of people don't realize how much coal we do burn to generate electricity in Nova Scotia. The 2 cents per kilowatt hour savings on the 18 cent per kilowatt hour charge is, like you say, a little better than 10%. I guess I'm not really understanding why anybody wouldn't put in a subscriber agreement to make that savings, because you're selling the power to Nova Scotia Power, and then Nova Scotia Power is supplying power to the customers. You're not supplying power directly from the solar grid to a customer who applies for the agreement. So that anybody who applies, subscribes, will be getting the same power they're getting now at a cheaper rate.
Exactly.
The one thing that I didn't understand in your presentation is that you said the system has a 2.2 megawatt capacity. And it also said that once the 100 megawatts is allocated, I didn't get where the 100 megawatts
see.
came from.
Yeah, so it's the procurement target. It's a provincial program. So the data program, in total, they only want to grant 100 megawatt of the contract to the applicant. And this project, we can only do 2.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. So it's the 2.2 megawatt capacity that you'll be
Yes.
making agreements with the,
Great.
okay, very good, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Lauren Cushing.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Great idea. I think we've heard this before, and I asked the same question that Councillor Baxter did, but very interesting. Now, have you ever thought, I'm going outside the box here, have you ever thought about solar panels being used in the fishing industry, like fishing ports? You know, because I know I'm exploring right now, I'm a harbor manager at Chicago Point, and we want to do solar power because of the extreme cost that it is for electricity. So have you ever thought about doing something like that through
Yeah.
small crafts and harbors, the DFO and?
Right. So I think it's a great idea. I would say I do see this kind of projects in China, in India. They actually having the solar panels on the and then underneath, right, on the water, underneath actually still, just farming the fish. So it's a great idea but I would say it's a little bit new in Canada still, because when the time we touching the water for the solar projects.
No, we don't want to touch no water.
Okay, so, yeah, then there's a lot of considerations, yeah. But I
Yeah.
think we can certainly, after meeting, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Like any, consideration in your side, we can figure out, minimize the environmental impact, can still do the solar projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have lots of land
Right.
that we own where that can be put on land, number one.
Okay.
And number two, right across the bay from us, there's a fish plant there who has a solar bank.
Oh, okay,
in
great.
it, along the, not on the water, but on land.
Okay,
right?
sure,
But stay
yeah.
away from that water stuff. But,
Okay.
yeah, so it'd
So-
be interesting, because, we're paying over $15,000 a year for
Right.
power.
So that's great. I think as a follow-up, I think after meeting, we'll follow up with maybe with Jenny, and you can give us the list of the potential locations, right? So
Sure.
we do have our GIS analyst in-house. We can quickly do the desktop analysis, and we'll let you know, which one is feasible and which one, and it's not feasible, reason why. So we'll share the assessment report with you.
Yeah, so I'll get a card from you afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham.
Yes, thank you for the presentation, and for my part, I don't think that I would want to see us delay very long, because there's only 100 megawatts for the whole province, and I'd like to see our ratepayers and our residents be able to take advantage of the discount, and again, all of the development that your project brings, and the employment and so forth. So it's all positive from my perspective. And given our CAO's comments about the depth of what we'd be doing in terms of providing that letter of support in principle, there's really, in my view, no downside for us doing that immediately. So I know Councillor Mooney had indicated that he'd like to make a motion to that effect, that we could write that letter, request or direct our warden to write that letter, immediately, and I think that would be a positive thing. So if that was the intent of Councillor Mooney, I'd look through the chair to have Councillor Mooney make a motion like that.
Any questions of staff?
Yes, please, Mr. Chair.
Madam CEO?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a quick question on the end of life of the project. So I understand that the agreements will be for 25 years, and it's a lot of hard infrastructure. So what are the requirements on the project proponents at the end of 25 years?
Okay, so that is part of our decommissioning plan in the application package. So it's the project owner's responsibility to decommission those projects away. So I would say in practice, there's a few possibilities. If the project owner at that time identify the province, right, can still have other programs available for continue to producing the solar electricity, will consult with landlord, because the lease is 25 years, right? If the landlords want to continue, then we'll apply for another program, continue to produce the solar electricity, because the life term for solar projects is actually around 35 years. So, yes, yeah, so the efficiency will be reduced over the time, but the life term is actually 35 years, so it will be a big waste if we didn't fully utilize that, right? So that's one option to go, but at the end of 25 years, if the landlord say, hey, I get enough, right, I don't want to be engaged anymore, so it's the owner, it's our responsibility at our cost, decommission all those projects away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Trevor Perry.
Thank you for your presentation. One question on the 2 cent per kilowatt hour discount for local residents. Will that change over the 25 years, or will it always just be the 2 cents? Because we probably won't be paying 18 cents 5 years from now, never mind 25 years from now.
Right, yeah, so it's a great question. So this is the design of the program. I think they probably want to simplify the execution. So it's in the program, it's designed at 2 cents per kilowatt hour for entire 25, there's no inflation over there. But I think Tuesday, we just have a round table with the province, right? Because they also want to collect in the feedback from market.
Yeah.
I think, so yeah, so we actually, give, just provide the feedbacks because in the market, it's a quite, a good question coming out. The power bill is actually increasing probably every year. There's an inflation, right? So I think we give the feedback back. I hope they will consider for the next round. But for this round, it's actually written in the program, it's 2 cents per kilowatt hour. But it's a good question, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comments of council? Councillor Mooney.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I'd like to make a motion to send a letter of support for, in principle, for Solar Bank Corporation for the proposed NS-171 Alice Community Solar Project located at 171 Alice Road, Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, B5A 5G5, PIN number 901-77536, GPS 443.815, 6366 proponent, 4650551, Nova Scotia Limited.
Okay, a motion on the floor. Do I
Jen,
have a
you got that right
seconder?
there?
Seconded by Councillor Jim Baxter. Discussion on that? Before I call Madam CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to propose an amendment for council to consider adopting that the letter also speak to the fixed rate of 2 cent discount and recommend the province provide an inflationary escalation over the life of the agreements.
Okay, someone
That-
willing to make
that-
that amendment?
That no way hinders the letter of support for their proposal. Okay. And that could be something that you bring back when you have the roundtable discussions with the province. Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay, any discussion on the motion on the floor? I do have one question.
seconder for the amendment, Mr.
Yes, I did. It was Councillor Jim Baxter. I do have one quick question in that regards. This project is located in the airport noise reduction zone, if I'm not mistaken, along the Ellis Road, because it's
Yeah.
right next to the airport.
Yeah.
That's an area that the, any type of development is pretty restricted. So I was just trying to think exactly where it was, because actually I did attend that presentation, then I went for a drive down that way the other night, and I couldn't picture exactly where it was, but it is in the airport noise reduction.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So we will already filed the engagement with the NAV Canada because it's a mandatory also requirement. We have to keep them informed and also get their feedbacks. So we filed the project information and with the NAV Canada. They don't have a large concern for these projects, but in the meanwhile, they're still pulling some traffic data. In general, they have no concern about these projects because our project is over 300 meters away for that airport and also crossing the road. And we also, as both of us, we actually visit the site. There's a natural visual screening, right, for the tree around Alice Road. And also, I think there's a zoning requirement. It's
Yeah,
for
there's
the
some-
light pole.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's some setbacks that are required in the noise reduction zone, including setbacks from there's a pole there that I believe lights up part of the runway, so we keep the required distance from the zoning bylaw away from that pole. I believe it's 30 meters here.
Yeah, so
yeah, 30 meters.
So we'll continue to follow up, but at this stage, in general, they don't have a large concern for our projects. And in the time, once we got a contract, I think we have to do a glare tax analysis as a part of the development for the projects close by to the airport. So in general, I would say, there's no concern, and we'll follow up, we'll comply any of the requirements if it's required, because this is kind of close by to the airport. And this letter of support do not exempt us for any of those in-depth studies or permitting requirements or compliance with the requirement. So,
Yeah, I was actually in one of the public participation meetings, and I had asked that question about the
Right.
possible glare from that in Transport Canada, where they regulate some of the airspace where it's so close to the airport. But I wasn't exactly sure if it was in the actual airport zone or if it was in general resource or where it was, but, okay. So is there any more questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
okay, great. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much.
everyone. Thank you.
Was,
Press off.
we need to do,
There was an amendment, and then now you have to call for the question on the main motion.
I'm sorry, that was the question that I called on the amendment. Now I got to go back to the main motion. So I'm going back to the main motion. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I forgot about the amendment. All right, moving on to item number 10, old business. 10.1, the Cape for Shoe Sea Level Rise Funding Presentation. This one here is scheduled for 15 minutes? 30 minutes.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 15 minutes.
So who's here doing that?
They're actually virtual.
Oh, okay. So these people are going to be doing this presentation, virtually online. So it's sort of a hybrid.
It's already connected, Mike. Yeah, you gotta enter.
Technology.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm Serbian. Born in Canada, but my
Hello?
I have my contact.
Not too bad. We're just going to try to adjust your volume here so we can hear you a little bit better.
Sure. Just introduce myself maybe to give you some vocals to help do that.
Yes, please go ahead and, we just lost him, Mike.
Sure. Yep, so yeah, I'm John Watson with Dillon Consulting, partner with Dillon, Water Resources Specialty, and I'm based in St. John's, Brunswick. I've been with Dillon 11 years, I've been in the industry for 15.
All right, Jeff, I guess you're going to give us the presentation on the
project, which included kind of the desktop analysis with the total sea level rise and the wave action. But we actually did a site assessment in October of 2024, which included sending some of our field staff to be able to look at the existing condition of the assets on the site. And this really provided us with a idea of what the current state of the assets are and potential impacts of some of the
Thank you very much for that. Questions, Councillor Lauren? No? Councillor Jim Baxter was first.
Okay, thank you for your presentation and for the information. I have not spent, sadly, I haven't spent that much time over on Cape Forshue, so I'm the high-risk area. My question is around the high-risk areas, the lower parking lot, Highway 304, and the east side armament. You said a risk assessment was done, and the two conditions were the likelihood of occurrence and the effect. Those three high-risk areas, did they become high-risk because of the likelihood of occurrence or frequency, or because of the effect that it would have if they did happen? Or, I don't know, have we lost 304 over there?
Yeah, no, I think the risk and consequence analysis was, that exercise was done looking at that future state condition. So, like Taylor, you probably fill in, but now, like, the conditions are generally, good, fair to very good.
So it was based on the effect then, what put it into high risk? Okay.
Correct.
Very good, thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, we put them in the different, what we call hazard zones. And those three particular were in basically the highest risk hazard zone. And so I will say within the risk analysis, that was probably between that and the impact of losing that particular asset was what drove kind of the high and moderate risk. It wasn't necessarily the condition of the infrastructure. There wasn't really much, I would say that's kind of the two elements that drove it to be a moderate or high risk asset.
Thank you.
Councillor Cushing.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Thank you for the presentation. When you're talking about Highway 304, you're not including, there's a large section of Highway 304 that is at risk, at high risk. So you're just talking about the 304 just part way up from the parking lot, correct?
Correct. So as part of this analysis, it was the property that the municipality owns, understanding that there is a portion of that road that is owned and maintained by the province, and it may be you have to reach out to the province and kind of come up with a solution to make sure if you put money into the portion that you essentially maintain, that it's not going to be, I guess, to the wayside because you're not able to repair the other portion of that road.
Yep. No, I just want some clarification on that. Since the municipality owns the parking lot, correct? Yep. And you talk about the crown concrete wall. I'm not, I'm not in favor of that at all because it's just the way it looks. Armorstone retaining wall, as they have, as Department of Highways have done recently, is much more attractive and much more natural. And so it's the way they do Armorstone now with riprap in between the larger stones, it certainly is a well-protected solution. So, the crown concrete is, I don't think it's good for that area myself. I mean, it certainly work, but I don't think for the aesthetics of it is not the way to go. So, as for the Leif Erikson Trail, we certainly have seen in the past how the storm surge comes across that walkway or that walkway, I'll call it, and has certainly moved Foggy the Will at one time, right? So, the Leif Erikson Trail is definitely a source that's going to be hard to mitigate. So, thank you.
Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham.
Yes, the wall with the concrete, and again, I understand this is quite far out, But was there any thought given to, and I don't know how feasible this is, or it's possible, or I don't really understand the wave action over there much, other than I know it's really heavy at times, but not so much at other times. There's a lot of tide, obviously, too. But any examples of where that sort of protections also can be made into like temporary, like wharfage, like for small boats, that type of thing on the inside of something like that? Or maybe I'm not understanding just what that structure would look like, so.
Yeah, it wasn't in the study scope.
I can take that one. So that wasn't in the scope of work of this study in terms of providing wharfside services. What initiated this work for council was council has adopted and approved a long-term site development plan for Cape Verschowe. And some of the projects are in the lower lying areas at the site. And so this analysis was required in order for council to make some future investment decisions about where to allocate funding for projects at Cape Verschowe. One of the key principles of our asset management program is to not make heavy investments where they're at a high level of risk. So I think that our partners here at Dillon, this is kind of the information they've given you, has said, look, there are some areas where it doesn't make sense to make any further investments, maintain what you have to the best of your ability. But by the way, your parking lot and your road are at a major risk, and you need to be thinking about what you're going to do, A, to maintain access, and B, what are you going to do in case of an emergency if you suddenly lose those two assets in an event. So I think that's the key takeaway from this work.
Deputy Warden?
Right, yeah, it was kind of a question just on the periphery, but having said that, I think this will also, for those reasons, will be useful, but also useful in when we apply for funding for some other projects, we'll know they're in the safe zone, or a zone that's not, sort of prone to storm damage, even in the longer term. So, and many of those projects are in our master plan anyway, so it's a good project to have had done. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Madam CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just for council's benefit, in terms of process, so formal final report will follow this presentation, and it'll be tabled for council. It's not the type of document where you approve, you just accept it and you receive the information to inform future capital decisions. So tonight is not the end of it. There will be one more final document that you will receive. Dillon, the team at Dillon will put the finishing touches on that, and we'll get that across the finish line.
Yeah, thank you very much for this report, because I was involved in the original master plan of Cape Verschowe, but with seeing some of this information, I think some of those priorities may have to be modified a little bit, because one of the things was, the first one was getting the trail up, the next one was improving the lighthouse, the third one was look off. I don't know if they were in the exact order, but the next one was a possible large investment was possibly going to be in the parking lot and access there. So after seeing this report, council may have to review our capital priorities plan out there, and may have to do a little bit of modification. And I also agree that an evacuation plan, if the worst does happen, that should be very important and high on our list, because we don't know what the storms are going to be doing. We also have a hurricane coming up the coast now, and they're becoming very unpredictable on how the intensity is, because that one, what's the name of the hurricane now? Aaron, because the speeds were way up and then they're down, they're going back up, and this one seemed to have followed a natural path, but we've also seen where hurricanes are very unpredictable. So thank you very much for this report, and looking forward to the final report. If I see no more questions of council, thank you very much on behalf of council and residents, and we'll be looking forward to the final report.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, council, moving on, item 10.2, the Capital Investment Plan Amendment Ratification. Madam CEO?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So last month, council approved a number of requests for decision which had an impact on the capital investment plan for 2025-26 and 26-27. So in your package this evening are the amendments to that plan per the approvals from last month. And just for the purposes of filing with the province, we're asking for a ratification of the amendments.
Deputy Warden.
I'll move that the Municipality District of Yarmouth ratify the amendments to the 25-26 capital investment plan is circulated.
A motion on the floor, do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Lauren Cushing. Discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 10.3, naming rights and sponsorship agreement. Madam CEO?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the three councils who own the Mariner Centre have delegated certain aspects of the expansion project to the Mariner Centre Expansion Board. And one of the pieces in that delegation is the fundraising project. So a separate entity has been stood up, and as everybody is quite aware, it's been an incredible campaign to raise the money. And it was announced earlier this year that Coastal Financial Credit Union will be the keynote sponsor. And so the terms of the agreement, while they could have been approved based on council delegation by the Mariner Centre Expansion Board, Coastal Financial Credit Union is also asking for approval by the three councils. So the contract has been negotiated and approved, and so it's before the councils to review and, if agreeable, agree to the terms and conditions as circulated.
Councillor Phil Mooney.
I'll make a motion that council agrees to the terms and conditions in the Coastal Financial Credit Union sponsorship contract as presented.
Okay, a motion on the floor to a seconder, seconded by Councillor Lauren Cushing. Discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. I do have one question for the CAO. There was a request that come through about in regards to an e-signature. So what happens now? Because I could do it personally, but was it the request that the e-signature was done on the?
Just for the purposes of collecting all the signatures, e-signatures were agreeable to Coastal Financial Credit Union, but we can grab your original signature, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I knew that request come out there before council had the discussion and the approval for me to sign that agreement, so. All right, moving on. I think that's it for that. Item 11, new business. 11.1, second reading of the vending bylaw V-1048-25. You all have that in your package. Deputy Warden.
I'll move that the Municipality of District of Yarmouth approve or approve second, that bylaw V-1048-25 be approved for second reading.
Okay, motion on the floor. I have a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Trevor Perry. I'm glad I didn't call you a deputy warden. I see that coming one of these days. Discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 10.2, second reading of water supply upgrade lending program bylaw W-1028-25. You all have that in your package. What is the wishes of council?
You ever get it on, Trev? Hand it on, shut it off. I'll move that the water supply upgrade lending program bylaw W-10298-25 be approved for second reading.
Okay, a motion on the floor. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Trevor Perry. Councillor Mooney, you still have the
Since
floor.
we're talking about the program, and maybe the CAO can highlight a couple of things that are different from the previous program, but how many calls have we received over the last couple of weeks or since we've approved this for? Has there been any uptake or anybody asking about the program?
I don't have the data on how many inquiries we've received, but this fiscal year, since April 1st, there's just the two loans that have been approved. There is one pending that they're working through the process right now. So the major changes to the bylaw, the upward limit of the loan has been doubled from $10,000 to $20,000. But equally important is the change to Appendix A in the allowable expenses. Council's taken a broader view on the types of projects that a homeowner could undertake with respect to on-site water security that speak to that. So equipment for the purpose of supply, use, and conservation of potable water, such as cisterns, fog systems, gray water collection, and other containers. The electrical connections to make sure your well functions well, and treatment systems. So that's a broadening of the allowable expenses that I think makes the program probably more practical for more people.
And one other question, just going through Facebook and social media, as limited as my knowledge is on it, did we receive any letters from any in the public talking about?
There were 3 letters received last week regarding the drought, and they went to the REMO Executive Committee.
Okay.
Who has formulated a plan and given instructions to staff in terms of how to incrementally support citizens until the rains come.
Okay, so when we get the down in, for information 12.2, when it talks about water distribution for areas affected by the drought, that would encapsulate that there. So,
That's right.
okay, okay, good, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, is there any more discussion on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 11.3, Water Supply Lending Program Financial Report.
So thank you, Mr. Warden. In Council's package this evening is a report on the program activity since its inception in 2018. So we have a total of 38 loans that have been extended that have improved water security for residents, and the municipality has lent a total of $327,348. So the program is working. It's helping residents. I think doubling the amount and broadening the scope will open it up to even more residents.
Yeah, one of the big complaints that I've heard over the past, since we introduced that program, was we can drill our well, but then we get no way to get the pipe and the pump and the deep well if they decide to go drilling, or we can't use it for a cistern system or whatever. So I'm very glad to see those updates included in the motion that we just passed. So anyway, is there any questions of staff in regards to the financial report regarding the water supply lending program to date? Deputy Ward?
No, Councillor
No,
Baxter.
Council Baxter.
Thank you, Warden. Mine starts in part with a discussion on this one, but I think it's bigger than this. It may be me asking for a motion. You'll have to give me direction on that. What I would like to see, I think on this water scarcity issue, it continues to get worse and worse. I don't feel that we do a good job up front on the water scarcity issue. The fact that we're receiving letters from communities saying, I need water, the fact that on this water lending agreement, knowing year on year, it's getting drier and drier, but looking at the numbers, we're getting less and less applicants for it. Like, looking at the numbers in the first year, 2018, 2019, we had 9 applicants. In the last 4 years, we only had 7 applicants total. Now, I would think if we were supplying what people needed, that number would be going up and not going down. So my thought on this is that we should create a special committee on water scarcity to address a few things, define opportunities that we have regarding water scarcity, determine community acceptability, whether they're going to buy into what the possible solutions are, and the closing of that special committee would be to write a procedure, bylaw, standard, however we define it, to how the municipality is going to act or react based on water scarcity. And it could be looking at all different, it's a big problem, it's not going to have a little solution, so I think we need to put some people behind it to define a standard. Now, my thought is a special committee. I don't know if that's a motion to create a special committee that I would do.
I can't speak to the special committee,
No.
Mr. Warden, but I can speak to the trend in the applications. So when you look at the activity on the loan program, there's a direct correlation between dry summers and loan applications. So when you see very few loan applications in the last 3 years, it's because we've had 3 pretty good years of rain. But if you look at 2018, 19, and 2021, and even to some degree 21, 22, those were fairly dry summers.
Yeah,
So
but
there's a
even then
direct
you-
correlation.
Sorry for interrupting you. Even looking at that number, 2021 was probably the driest on record for a long time, and we only had 6 applications, or 8, 8. Like, I know my well is, this is the 3rd year in the last 7 years my well is going dry. And I know my neighbor has had a water truck in their yard probably 8 times this year. Now, they have a number of teenagers, but so I guess my question is do I create a motion to create a committee on this?
That's totally up to you, but I do know Deputy Warden wants to speak, and actually I wanted to speak on that. However, if you can make a motion at any time, Councillor, but I would suggest holding off just a touch. I'll certainly give you the floor if your microphone flashes again. If you hear something that you like or something that you don't like or disagree, you can certainly put a motion on the floor. But I would suggest that let's give some other councillors a chance to speak first, just to feel them out. It's just been my experience.
Okay.
But I'm not saying you can't. You can do it at any time.
And another tool that Councillor Baxter might want to use is notice of motion.
Yeah, and another thing too, CEO just reminded me, something that I've used quite a bit when I was sitting in your position is I used a notice of motion to let council know that I'll be bringing forward a motion forward in another council meeting, so that you can certainly do that. Deputy Warden?
Yeah, I was just going to, there's no suggested motion, but I was just going to make a motion that council receive the water supply lending program financial report and place on file.
So you've made that motion. Do I have a seconder on that? Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Phil Mooney. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Now back to what Councillor Baxter was speaking about. I hear you, but also I personally haven't heard all that much out in my district in regards to water, and what I mostly hear about is access to the facilities that we have, which we do not own. It's owned by the Town of Yarmouth Water Utility. That's the biggest concern that I hear. I'm really not sure, Councillor Baxter, where you want to go with this. I don't know if setting up a committee, a special committee to do this is prudent. I would like to see, God, I really don't know. I never really gave it all that much thought. I do understand what you're suggesting, but I don't know if that's the proper way, or maybe putting out giving council a notice of motion that you're going to be bringing this forward, or maybe it's a separate agenda item that maybe we should have it and talk about it and speak about possibilities and possible solutions, whether that be committee, whether that be working with someone else, whether that be working with the province, because who knows where this whole situation is going. I do know through REMO, our regional emergency management, we did discuss that, when was that, yesterday?
Monday.
Monday. We did discuss that Monday, and we directed staff to contact the province and see if there's any solutions or anything like that, because the last time that there was water given out, that was a project done by the province, and Remo had delivered that. Now, where that goes, I don't know, but I do believe Shane, the coordinator, is going to be getting back to the Remo committee as soon as possible, as soon as he hears from the province. So I don't know if your motion would put the cart before the horse, or if that's the route that it should be going in. I'm really not sure. But I do hear you that there is, some people have a problem, and yes, we do have this bylaw that you can borrow money, but let's face it, not all people can afford what they own now, and I do know that as well. So, but I just want to make sure that we do take the best track to fix a problem with some people. I don't know who's next. Councillor Baxter.
My feeling on this is that we need to get brains together to sit down and discuss possible options, because there's going to be more than one possible option. It needs to be more than one brainstorming session. There's going to be more than one solution. There's going to be, for example, the water lending agreement. We could offer 0% interest based on income level of households. Like, there's all kinds of things that we could open up and discuss on that subject. And it's not just the water lending program, it's drinking water, it's water in general. That's why I think we need to put resources behind it, rather than bringing one solution at a time and forking through that one solution, which isn't going to solve the problem. So I'd like to make a notice of motion, I guess you say it is, to bring to the next meeting.
Okay, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that works
So that is
absolutely fine.
recorded.
So that is recorded, and that will be on our next council agenda coming up in September,
Council will be the 21st.
yeah, 21st.
22nd.
22nd, yeah.
In September.
Committee of the whole or the council meeting?
It's up to
I'd sooner
you.
bring it up to the committee of the whole meeting.
So for
than have it
September
go
10th?
through.
September 10th. Okay,
If I could, Mr. Chair.
Madam CEO.
Yep, and so, Councillor Baxter, what's often helpful when a notice of motion is filed is that if you prepare your proposed motion and it's circulated with the agenda, so the councillors can think about the wording and the language and inform the debate.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Councillor Lorne Cushion.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I agree with Councillor Baxter 100%, and I also agree with the warden when he said yes, we've upped the lending program to $20,000, but, you know, in reality, how many residents with dry wells can actually afford to pay $20,000 to have a well dug? Just up the road from me, they had a new well put in, and it's a great project. They did a great job and whatnot, but they're able to pay for through the program. But there is a number of citizens within our municipality that could never afford $20,000 payback on a well. And yes, Remo was, what's his name, Shane, we were going to ask the province, I guess, to see what their hands are. So we are working, but I like what Councillor Baxter had to say, and also what the warden had to say about the residents affording a new well. Thank you.
Councillor Phil Mooney.
We can't forgive interest. Am I right?
There's very limited circumstances under which it can happen, and then it has to be by policy.
I'm going to say no. We can't do it. I've been down that road before. And a history lesson is the town of Yarmouth was formulated because of water. They put in a system in the 1880s. It took them 3 months to go from Lake George to a group of homes and streets in the town of Yarmouth, and it took them 3 months. And in that 3 months, following, the company that put the system in went bankrupt. So there was a group of citizens in the town of Yarmouth that decided that they wanted to form a group, a town, an area that they would take over and buy the bankrupt facility. And they bought the water lines going from Lake George to the town of Yarmouth. And in that time, there was no town of Yarmouth. And the town of Yarmouth and the people, the citizens of that area, wanted the municipality to cover the costs of the system. And there was a group out here, Kemp, Carlton, Melbourne, Pleasant Lake, Pleasant Valley, Deerfield, the upper parts of South and North Ohio, that didn't want to pay for somebody to get water. So they would have to be on the hook for the utility. So then they formulated the town of Yarmouth. We have how many residents or businesses that are already on the municipal system?
I don't know the exact number.
It's over 1,000.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So when we do this, if we do this, or when we do something, we cannot handcuff those people that are already on a municipal system, because I will get in trouble. Water is not free. Water is not free. So if somebody has a problem with a well, somebody has a problem with a septic tank, we are not the first person to go in to help them out. We can set in safeguards when it comes to some of the lending programs. We can do that. We can talk with our counterparts at REBO. We have a letter here, like I said, under 12.25 for water distribution to areas affected by the drought. But I don't think somebody's going to say in South Ohio that's connected to the facility, I want to help somebody else, because people base their decisions on where they live and on what their tax rate is and what services they pay for. So everyone is like 200, when I was in town, I was paying $800 or $900 a year. We might have to put, if that's the way you're going, we might have to put a surcharge on everybody that has a well. And then they can get something out of that fund. But for the whole population of the residents of the District of Yarmouth, there's 3,000, there's a third of the population that already has a safe water supply and a safe system. So we're going to have to think way outside the box on this one if we're going to do anything. And there's going to have to be more people at the table, because some people already have artesian wells. Next to me, I don't even know how deep my well is, but I haven't had a problem. The guy next door has run out. The guy next door has a problem. So you're going to have to think long and hard on what we're going to do and how we're going to pay for it, because there could be 8,000 households coming to us and say, help me dig a new well. And you think the tax rates are high and value for service is, some people don't think they're getting value for service. It could be a disaster when it comes to affordability.
Deputy Warden.
Yeah, I appreciate what everybody said to this point, and we do know water is a problem. Phil gave a little bit of a history lesson that goes back 100 years. That it's been a big issue here in the Yarmouth area, both in the town and the municipality, and it's a big issue wherever you go, right? I mean, there's huge infrastructure projects in the big cities and multi-generational things, water lines and all kinds of stuff that goes on all around the world. But having said that, Phil's right, this is a vexing problem. And I guess it's underlined by the fact that we haven't been able to expand our municipal system very quickly. We know that's very, very costly to do, it's a good solution when it's able to happen. Like the two new subdivisions in Hebron-Dayton area, they have municipal water. That's fantastic. Nobody's calling about the wells running dry. Having said that, those are new properties. It's all new infrastructure, and it's pricey to do that. And you really have to have the density, the tax base, all those things. So to Phil's point, if this was easy, we'd have done it. And we've had several conversations over several councils, and the water lending program. I think we've done some significant improvements. If you talk about the positive side of it, to the water lending program. I think part of the reason it's not more subscribed to is, what the CAO outline is that, we're able to get a little bit more in terms of, well, it's not just the drilling of the well, it's some of the equipment, it's the water, it's the water quality apparatus. I mean, everybody that drills a well in Yarmouth County has some kind of problem with minerals or bacteria or something like that. So, and that's pricey. So I think we've doubled the amount. We are constrained a lot by what we can do. We're giving the ratepayers an ability to pay the absolute minimum rate because we can borrow the money cheaper than, and so we take that on. But however, that's an agreement, and there's a lien against the property and all sorts of other things. So that's, for those reasons, I'm even a little bit leery of that. But truthfully, I mean, that's a big responsibility for the municipality to bear. But I think it's worth it because it does advantage. Certain people can pay those back. Having said that, I don't think it's a bad idea to continue looking at the issue about how we could expand. There's our built infrastructure. We've talked a little bit about expanding some of that. We've just done a huge municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw review, looking for potential to, make the area a little bit more dense. And moving forward, we'd have maybe a little bit more water, sewer available for folks. Those are long-term solutions. I think maybe also what we need to do is a jurisdictional scan, maybe again, and I don't know how much we've done of that. We've looked at what are other municipalities doing, because to Phil's point, there's always a cost. Somebody has to pay for the water, right? And we don't own these properties. They're individual properties, and I feel for people that don't have an adequate amount of water. But every situation is also different, right? So whatever, to Jim's point, whatever we do, it's got to be, if we're going to be successful at it, we've got to be able to maybe address a myriad of situations. So I'm talking a lot, and I don't know how much I'm getting. I feel as though I'm starting to spin my wheels a little bit, so I'll probably stop there. But it may be useful to do and I say quick, I don't know how quick it is, because I'm suggesting this without really knowing, but a quick jurisdictional scan, getting in touch with the province. What are other municipalities doing, that may be doing that we're not, maybe other folks aren't doing much more than we are. Obviously, the very densely populated municipalities like HRM, those types of things, they're able to offer water at a reasonable rate. So we may look at that moving forward. I don't know. So those are my comments. I'll stop there. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden. And with that, could you please take the chair just for a couple minutes to continue on this conversation?
Where am I? Councillor Cushing, I was looking at Trevor and saying, whose light's on? But it's you. You're the only one over there.
Good.
Councillor Cushing.
Thank you very much. A couple of things. First of all, Deputy Warden Cunningham, you were saying that you're probably talking too much and how much is being absorbed. I coached hockey for many, many, many years, and if you couldn't explain within 30 to 40 seconds of what you wanted the players to do, you lost them. So you went beyond that. But anyway.
Agreed.
However, my point is, I probably won't be able to do 30 seconds either, but Councillor Mooney certainly raised a good point that water is not free. And I totally agree. Oh my God, I lost my thought.
It was beyond the 30 seconds, so that may be it.
Yeah, it's not free, and definitely we have to do something. Like I said, a lot of residents can't afford the cost of that. And I know, I'm pretty sure that, and again, this would be brainstorming and thinking outside the box. I believe Bridgetown, their water supply is done by artesian wells.
Berwick.
Berwick, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there's a possibility there, but our best bet, as far as I'm concerned, is tapping into the town of Yarmouth water supply of Lake George. If Lake George ever goes dry, we won't be around. So, there's, I think we certainly should look at expanding our water lines into the municipality further and doing something that perhaps make our own bulk water station, using Lake George water, that areas are closer than driving from Carlton, as I say, all the way to the town of Yarmouth to get water. So there's quite a few possibilities in which Councillor Baxter, again, I'll go back to him, I really support what he was saying about we got to do some brainstorming and thinking outside the box and just try, just try. And we talked about who's going to pay for this if we have to charge on wells and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, all the sidewalks that we have being built, all the residents pay for that, right?
That's correct. There's no area rates for the sidewalks or the streetlights.
So there you go. I'm helping pay for, my taxes help pay for sidewalks that we don't have, we don't need, well, I shouldn't say we don't need, but we don't have, so there's no difference in the well water, so, good, thank you.
I just remind the council that this was just item on water supply lending program. It's good to hash it out, but just remember, we are under a time constraint because we do still have a long agenda. Just remember that. Councillor Baxter, your notice of motion is noted, and we'll be speaking about that where we would have a little bit more time to go about that. So just a reminder to council, I can't tell you what to say or what to talk about, but I just want to try to keep your focus on the agenda. Councillor Mooney.
And tapping into the Yarmouth Water Utility, that's a separate entity than the town of Yarmouth. That's completely separate. It's governed by the Utility Review Board. The town of Yarmouth has to abide by what they say, has to abide by how many gallons come out, has to abide by, they test it 3 or 4 times a day. Just think about this, and this is in $2,010 to upgrade the water line from Meadowfield School to just before the Nissan dealership, $5 million for the line, right? Less than 1.5 kilometers. The other thing is the water utility in the Watershed Conservation District at Lake George has a program where they pump septic systems. But one of the conditions is, if there's something wrong with the septic system, the company that pumps it has a duty to report it to the Department of Environment if there's any leakage or any defect in the septic system. And there's people in that district that will not get their septic systems pumped for free because they know that they have a problem with their system and they don't want to undergo the cost to pay for upgrading their system. So this is going to be I'll support the motion, but this is going to be a long, hard road. I mean long. It's going to be contentious.
There's no motion on the floor, Councillor. It was just a notice of motion that it's going to be brought forward to committee of the whole. So just trying to get everyone's focus on the agenda. But that was a good discussion. Just remember, something. I thought it was a spider, but apparently,
You didn't scream, so.
no, I didn't scream.
He was pretty jumpy.
I didn't,
Jumpy.
I didn't know if it, I'll tell you what's, and Jenny, I'm going to get off topic here. Jenny knows what I'm talking about, bee stings. I can't stand them, I'll swell up. That's what I was wondering what it was.
I thought I was gonna get a right
That
hook.
bug was probably bored to death by me and Trevor.
You said that I didn't. All right, moving on, item number 12, correspondence for action, 12.1.1, the Western Counties Regional Library request. Councilor Phil Mooney.
Yeah, I sit I'm the vice chair of the Western Counties Regional Library, and over the last several years, they've only had 2 increases in fundings between 2009 and 2020. So they already have a review. It's sitting on the Minister of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage's desk right now as we speak, the Honorable Dave Ritchie, and they're asking us for a letter of support for those guys to review the process and come back with a decision by November, because some of the things that they're talking about are not only cutting the services, but also cutting some hours in some of the library system. So all we're looking at is not a decision on the funding amount from the government, but to look at the report and come back with a decision by November, and I think it's been on his desk for several months or more. So I'll make a motion that we send this draft letter to Minister Ritchie, and I think this is going to be uniform right across the province from all the municipalities.
So you making that a motion,
I'll make
Councilor?
that a motion.
Okay, motion on the floor, seconded by Councilor Jim Baxter. Discussion on that? Absolutely, Madam CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'd like to recommend another amendment to this evening's motion. So one of the concerns that municipal government raised with the Provincial Library Funding Review Committee in the province and the minister was that municipalities were not meaningfully engaged in the review. There were municipally elected officials on the review panel, but they were there as board members from regional library boards. Municipal councils did not receive packages, were not provided an opportunity to comment on the impact of the proposed models to municipal budgets and operating systems. So I would like to recommend that in addition to submitting the letter as suggested, that we also request that the municipalities be provided meaningful engagement on the proposed model and its implications to operations.
So someone willing to make that an amendment to the main motion?
Can I do that?
Yes, you can. So you're moving that as an amendment, Councilor Mooney, and second by Councilor Baxter.
Can I ask the CAO a question?
You sure can.
So-
You still have the floor.
Oh, good, thank you. So the funding formula is split between the province, the municipalities, and the library board. I know the library board at one time had a significant amount of investments, and that's going down every year because of the lack of increase in funding from consecutive governments, either liberal or conservative. But do you think, Madam CAO, do you think the 3% the library board has to raise, do you think that's something that should be looked at?
It's a bit counterintuitive to me. So the province of Nova Scotia and municipal government in Nova Scotia in general is very grateful to the volunteer effort that volunteers bring to these community boards. And I think that that's an old approach to the model. Asking a volunteer board to go out and fundraise as well as provide governance oversight for the operation of a regional library is a bit old thinking. It doesn't really align with the way the province and municipalities recognize and show appreciation for the volunteer efforts of citizens. So I would say there's a contradiction there. It doesn't make sense. And what ends up happening is the board is so focused on achieving that metric that it takes their attention away from governance decisions and program decisions that meet the needs of the community that they serve. And I would just add, Councillor Mooney, not every regional library board had a surplus to draw down on.
That's right. And the other thing, if anybody wants to know anything about public libraries, about impacts, is the average return on investment, so what a library's budget is 6 to 1. So the Western Counties Regional Library, 1.8 million, it's worth, its value is worth over $10 million on a 6 to 1 return. And here in southwestern Nova Scotia, our literacy rates aren't as good as some of our regional counterparts, but a 1% increase in the adult literacy rates is worth to the Canadian economy $67 billion. So if you take the rate down from 28 to 27, that generates $67 billion extra dollars for the economy in Canada.
Okay, I think this is something that is long overdue, and Councillor Mooney, you had mentioned that whether it was conservative, liberal governments, but we also remember there was an NDP government in there as well.
I think they missed it.
Yeah, I think they missed it.
No, they were there, that's right, they were there.
They were there.
They were there for 2 of them, that's right.
They were there, so
They were there for 2.
this is something that I think that the province should be focusing on, is properly funding the library boards, and I never thought about that 3%. I don't want to call it a 3% rule, but a 3% of the budget to be raised by volunteers. As the CEO mentioned, that's outdated. So I see no more discussion on the amendment on the motion, so I'm going to call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Back to the main motion. Any more discussion on the main motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 12.2, for information, we have one from the PVSC annual report. Second one is a letter from Honorable Minister John Lohr, value for money audit of the Nova Scotia Firefighter School. The third one is an invitation to the 50th annual Grand Street Parade, Digby Scallop Days. Next one, number 4, is Wasoba Community Solar Project Introduction. The fifth one is travel and activities in the woods restrictions. Item 6 is the water distribution for areas affected by the drought. And the last one is a response from Minister Tilley regarding the Greenville-Hartscratch Road intersection. Is there any comments on those information items? Councillor Baxter.
Not really a comment, but a question. I've had 3 homeowners send me letters regarding water distribution. What do I tell them?
So as I said earlier, those letters were tabled at the Regional Emergency Management Executive meeting, and they have actually asked the municipality just to respond to those letters and indicate where the letters went to and who dealt with them. So a letter's being prepared for the warden's signature. And because you receive them, council will get carbon copied on them. Yep.
So will the individuals?
Each individual writer will receive a response.
Okay, very
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just not one, but each individual, yeah. Okay, any more discussion on any of those agenda items? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to say that they're received and placed on file. Moved by Councillor Phil Mooney, seconded by Councillor Lauren Cushion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Council. Item 13, reports. CEO's report. You have that in your package. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Move we accept the CEO's report is
Yeah, you can make that motion now.
as presented.
Okay, a motion on the floor to approve the motion, the CAO's report is presented. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham. Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah, just to comment about the Nova Scotia West Business Park Phase 2 expansion. I went up there one evening and just looked, and it's a fantastic expansion. So, and again, keeping with our strategic plan, I think council's doing a good job in increasing the viability of the business community there. So that's fantastic. So people should be aware that project's a fairly big one on the go. And I think, I'm hopeful we'll have additional businesses in the park soon. And I think my understanding is that project's going to be completed over the next couple of months. And again, that's got water and sewer. It's supplied with water and sewer, so the lots will be business ready, because obviously you can't have businesses come to the community without somewhere to locate. So, and we've had in the past some issues with businesses being located in more general areas, and I think the community is really supportive of our business development and keeping taxes low for everybody else. The more businesses we have in the community paying taxes at the higher rate, the more stable we can keep the residential rate. So that's really, really important, and it's part of the overall strategy. So I just wanted to talk about that tonight a little bit, and so I guess kudos to us all. It's a real politician congratulating themselves. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Gently.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden. And one thing that I did notice in that same line of comments was when I was coming in here about 5:30, I stopped and I heard this thump, 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 thump going on. So that was the people in there compacting and doing work in there. And I too went in there, and it's good to see. Hopefully we'll have good news in the very near future about possible sale on those lots, but nothing's confirmed. But at least we're moving forward to try to expand our commercial base, because it not only helps keep our rate level and uniform, but it also helps bring in jobs and opportunities for new businesses and people to have a job in the area. So that not only helps the municipality of Yarmouth, that helps all of Southwest Nova Scotia. So, is there any more comments on the CAO's report? There's already a motion on the floor to accept. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Warden's report. I don't have a whole heck of a lot, because as someone told me the other day, you don't do too much, do you? Well, I hate to say that just about every weekend this week, or this month, or this summer, I've been out and about doing different things. And I also know that my fellow colleagues wrote, Deputy Warden had just won a draw there for some things that he'd won at a Pleasant Valley Fire Department auction, Fireman's Day. So I do see a lot of councillors out. First thing I seen when I walked into the Pleasant Valley was Councillor Phil Mooney selling tickets. So it's glad to see each and every one of you out and about in the communities. The Strawberry Festivals in Lake Vaughan and stuff like that. But there is some things that are coming up in the very near future, something that's happening right now. The Wedgeport Tuna Festival is currently going on in Wedgeport. So anybody who's watching, or any councillors, I strongly urge that you get out there and take advantage of the events. It's posted online. I'm not going to list them all, but I'll be out there Saturday, I think it's 1 o'clock, for the closing ceremonies of that. There's over 20 fishing boats with full crews out, and hopefully that they're going to avoid the hurricane that's coming up the coast. Something else that's happening on August the 31st is the Darrell Williams Memorial Ride coming up. That starts at the Wharf Rat Rally in Digby, and it ends up right down here at the memorial at the Maple Grove Education Center. I don't have the details of that yet. I just was told that they're going to be having that again this year, so as soon as I find out, I'll forward the information. I do know the date, but I don't know the exact time. I can't remember if it was 12, 11, 1 o'clock, sometime in that area. But there's usually about 200 motorcycles that travel down from Digby to this area, and it's very good to see. There's also other federal and provincial politicians that are there as well, and it's very well attended, not only by the bikers, but the residents and the family. Some other things that are coming up that I've done over the past little bit. I've had discussions with provincial officials up in Halifax in regards to the policing contract that's coming up. Very shortly, me and the CAO and the warden of Argyle, and their CEO is going to be speaking with the Department of Justice, but we had an overview up in Halifax late last week. It came right out of the blue, but that's going to be very important because we don't know how that contract's going to be affecting the municipal tax rates. Oh, what else has been going on? There's so much, it's hard to remember. Also, I do know that, and I'm going to turn the floor over to any councilors for any local events that you know that's going on, but there is going to be a fireman's fundraiser in September coming up in the community of Carleton for the Carleton Fire Department. It's not only a fire department fundraiser, it's a community and family fun day. There's going to be bouncing castles for your kids, going to be demonstrations, going to be live local musicians. Dean Thibodeau is going to be one, and his son is going to be playing. I think it's the 9th, but don't quote me on, no, it's not the 9th.
A little later, I think.
It's a little bit later than that.
It could be that 12th or 13th or something.
Yeah, it's sometime in that, but as soon as I get them final information, I'll certainly let you know. This report is sort of everywhere, but there's been a lot going on, and I do know that we have a large agenda, so I didn't want to tie up councils in the public's time too much. But if there's any other community events that any of the councilors know that's going on in their areas, please speak up. Councilor Mooney?
Under 13 Nova Scotia Baseball Championships in Yarmouth this weekend, be held at St. Ambrose Field and Travelers Field. So all you have to do is go up and down Southeast Street, and you'll be all right. Couple really quick ones. The Vic Rodney, over 200 players, golfers from right across the province. The Ricky Boudreau Memorial, the largest individual tournament in the province. This year he had 124 players. We just had a junior tournament today. 40 players from across the province were there. We had the Nova Scotia Bronze was in Yarmouth. 77 players, 154 people, women from Sydney to Amherst were here this weekend. And we have the Phil Mooney tournament on September the 12th and 13th, and we're going to have close to 140 players. So we have the 4 biggest golf tournaments in the province of Nova Scotia that are sanctioned by the NSGA, not fundraisers for like the J Strong or someone else, but we have the 4 largest in the province of Nova Scotia here in Yarmouth.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I forgot to mention. I also attended the J Strong with Councillor Daniel Muse, who isn't here tonight due to the passing of his mom. So council and staff sincere condolences to the Muse family. We were to the J Strong tournament, myself. Who else was there? I know Councillor Phil Mooney was there to watch me shank the ball.
Lauren was there.
And Councillor Lauren Cushion was there, and I was there. I did finally learn that actually some good golf balls, but we had an all-female staff team as well. Jenny right next to me, I wouldn't want to get in front of her because she knows how to swing a golf club. Now, whether it's in anger or it's whether it's in anger or she means it, that she's going to hit it. She swings quite a mean ball, along with Kim and Angelique and Emily was there. So it was kind of neat. They were all color coordinated except for their shoes. Kind of disappointed in that, actually. They had nice dark blue tops, black shorts, and some had white shoes, some had brown shoes, some had black shoes. I thought it kind of funny, actually, because it was one of the first comments I said, color coordinated except for the shoes. And Mike behind the camera, he was there as well. He hadn't swung a club since 1985. Councillor, Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham.
Yeah, so I've just got a couple of committees to report on.
We ain't committee reports yet.
Oh, my apologies. We were.
Maybe we're talking too much.
I think so. Maybe that's it.
Councillor Mooney.
Maybe it's something on a little more somber thought is maybe I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter of condolence to Carol DeVue, wife of our former MLA John DeVue, who passed away a week or so ago, and there's going to be a celebration of life for John at the South Ohio Community Hall between 1 and 3.
Okay, a motion on the floor. Do I have a seconder on that? Seconded by Deputy Warden Trevor Cunningham. Councilor Mooney, do you have any more to say?
That's, John was a great community member, Special Olympics, worked at Harborside for many years and was a great community volunteer and a very good friend of mine, even though we're on different sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah, I remember him very well. He was, when I first started getting interested in politics, he was the MLA at the time, so very, very nice guy. So a motion on the floor, no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council, and that's my report. We're not going to belabor that anymore because never give a politician an opportunity to stand up on a soapbox and talk. Maybe I'll do a written one next time. Item 13.3 for legal entities. Is there any reports, verbal reports? We have written reports. Deputy Warden?
Yes, so Monday evening, the Yarmouth Area Industrial Commission met, and just to let you know, we're continuing with the port transition plan. That's kind of the big thing there. There was some conversation about that very thing that evening. Tuesday night, Planning Advisory Committee took place, and I guess we received and talked about and moved on to council some matters regarding wind energy, and of course we went through the process of wind energy public participation, and there's a report filed with us and with the PAC, and really that comes out of some changes that the province has made in terms of legislation around the larger scale wind farms. I won't get into all the technicalities, but certainly that will be coming to council at our next council meeting. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden. Any more discussion under legal, or verbal reports under legal entities? Seeing none, advisory? Seeing none there. Ad hoc? Nothing. All right, public comments. We have one signed up. Mariella? Just hit the red button. You know the process for public input, so I'm going to turn on your microphone, and you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Warden, Madam CAO, and council members. At the June 12th Yarmouth Municipal of the Whole meeting, the subject of mayor versus warden governance was discussed. Previous public response saw an approximate total of 37 people responding. Madam CEO, I believe that was the number that you spoke of that night.
Okay,
Yeah.
double check.
And I just wanted to make sure it was correct. So 37 people certainly does not represent the constituents of the municipality of Yarmouth. I would ask that the council take this opportunity to find a way to engage the constituents of the municipality of Yarmouth for their opinion regarding this topic. I was grateful to hear a presentation made by Mark Brewer, Communications Officer, and his plans to create a more efficient means of communication with constituents. Mr. Brewer suggested mail-outs to inform the public. Social media can be effective at times, but in my opinion, social media is not always effective, as many people do not get. Like even now, I'm on all the social media, and I'm not seeing any of these meetings coming up on my Facebook for municipal, so I don't know where it's gone. But a group of concerned citizens proved that this to be true when we had a municipal held a public meeting concerning bylaws, and approximately 200 people attended through people actually having something in their hand to read. So during the discussion on the subject of mayor versus warden, I did get the sense that some councillors would be in favor of having an elected mayor as opposed to the council members voting for the warden. I wholeheartedly agree that the decision to elect a mayor would represent the voice of the public as opposed to 6 council members. The world as we know it is in a state of turmoil, and the most democratic approach to elect people to represent their constituents would be an election. And I personally, this is my opinion, that the paper ballots are still the most true form of democratic representation. So the following that I'm reading is taken from Strong Mayor Points, the Erosion of Municipal Democracy. My question or comment would be, I can't ask a question, the comment, is this municipality considering a weak mayor system or a strong mayor system? The weak mayor system is one where the mayor would basically have the same powers of the existing model as a warden, which equals a single vote. The strong mayor system would provide the head of the council with a centralized executive authority to take actions and make decisions on a unilateral basis without the concurrence or support of a majority of the members of council. Such a system would create a power of imbalance, or council granting the head of council additional powers that general members do not have. I can't even make it my own, a delegated member, unless a delegated member is chosen. This would give the mayor the power to veto decisions made by council members. I realize that this is only in the early stages of discussion, but this decision should not be taken lightly. And what role would the CAO have also in council if a strong mayor is chosen? And would this eventually lead to the amalgamation with neighboring municipalities? I strongly suggest that constituents research what is happening in other places that have a strong mayor. 5 years ago, I moved from the city of Halifax to be back near my home village. I do, however, keep informed with happenings in Halifax and listen to a weekly talk show where councillors are on the hot seat, with listeners being able to call in and ask questions. As of late, the issue of strong mayor has been in the forefront of discussion as our premier is vocating for the mayor, Andy Fillmore of Halifax, to become a strong mayor, meaning that if he does become strong mayor, he can veto all his council members and now take advice from the premier. The premier has already tried to influence Mr. Fillmore on certain proposed bike lanes. So I think you can see where this is going. Thank you for allowing me to voice my concerns.
Thank you very much for that. All right, that's the end of the regular agenda. I'm sure everyone needs to use the washroom, so I'll entertain a motion to take a 5-minute recess before we go into camera. Moved by Councillor Phil Mooney, second by Councillor Jim Baxter, to go into recess for 5 minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.